Hello and welcome to Future Fuel. I'm Carolina Soto from FutureEnergyVentures, and today I have the pleasure to speak with Florian Kolb. He's the Chief Commercial Officer and General Manager Energy at Intertrust Technologies. So welcome, Florian.
Yeah, hi Carolina. Thank you. It's great and awesome to be with you today.
Perfect. So today we will discuss how innovative data technologies can help the energy industry. What are the current challenges that we're facing and what's going to be in the future? So maybe we can kick it off from there. What challenges can you solve with Intertrust?
Yeah, that's a great question, of course. So first of all, we believe there is no clean energy without clean data. And we actually solve the problem of clean data. So what does this mean? The electrical energy value chain is a very complex animal, and the ongoing decentralization of energy systems adds to this complexity. So more wind, more solar, e-mobility, more complexity. The amount of data generated by the energy system is therefore increasing exponentially with IoT and smart hardware being deployed. This data needs to be managed and processed to keep the energy system efficient and in balance so that supply and demand can be met at all time. And most people know that it's a real-time system, so there's not so much possibility to store. So demand and supply balance is very important. So when you look at energy companies and utilities, they are facing four problems when it comes to data. Problem number one, data is very hard and difficult to discover within this whole environment. Problem number two, the data cannot be accessed because of technical constraints. Think about different data formats, different data store types, different store locations. So for example, different cloud system and different data centers. Problem number three, the data cannot be shared efficiently, securely, and trusted within, but also across organizations. And problem number four is that data and algorithms and AI cannot be paired without exposing the data or the algorithm. Pairing is a complex technical and legal process these days. And these are the four problems that we address and that we are solving.
And how exactly does this work?
Yes. So the solution and the products and technology that we have is called Clean Grid, and it's based on our horizontal technology called Intertrust platform. Clean Grid is a unique combination of advanced and innovative data technologies, solving the data problems I just outlined a few minutes ago. So there are three core big data technologies embedded in the Clean Grid platform. Number one is data virtualization. With this, data can be aggregated and blended across different data sources or data stores. So for example, different cloud systems or different own data centers without moving or copying the data. So no data to use the data doesn't need to be moved and doesn't need to be copied, which is very important. So with this, we can create completely new virtual data sets, which simply didn't exist before. And the time required and also the cost you need to incur for acquiring and blending data is lowered dramatically. So around 90 to 95%. The second core technology that we use is around data governance. Very important topic. So when you have data sets or virtual data sets, they need to be fully protected, and access rights need to be granted on a very fine grain level. So ideally row and column based or field based via easy to use and efficient admin interfaces. And that is mathematically a very complex problem. And Clean Grid fulfills the most challenging and strict data regulations that exist. Ask your colleagues within E.ON. And this is very important from a data security, data privacy, and data governance perspective. Why? Because especially in the energy industry, the players, the companies have very strict rules and regulations they have to obey internal and externally around security, privacy, and data governance. The third technology area that we use, we call secure execution environment. So in this secure execution environment, we bring data and AI together in a very unique and very protected way. So the data owner and the AI owner do not get access to the data or the code. This reduces the time to AI dramatically and enables completely new applications. And I have a few examples that I can elaborate on where we have implemented these technologies very successful. So example number one is together with E.ON, we have developed a very efficient and effective EV charging infrastructure planning system called Digico. The Digico system that uses the technologies that I described cuts the planning time for EV infrastructure by 95%. And we all know that lowering planning times means more EV infrastructure in a shorter period of time and support of EV adoption, which at the end is good for the environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another example is we also work with E.ON on a demand clearinghouse for DSOs and charging network operators, which enables efficient day-ahead planning for grid operators, as well as enables the regulatory benefits for EV charging network operators. Mm-hmm. So they get incentivized if they contribute flexibility to the grid. And this is delivered by this data platform and is also good for the EV adoption. A third use case, which targets especially around the secure execution environment, which is a bit outside of energy, is we worked with Suzuki, the car company, to provide customer data to hundreds of startups that are running through their startup program in this secure execution environment, so that the customer data is not exposed to the startups, and also the know-how and the IP of the startups is controlled versus Suzuki. Very important. And a last example, number 4 here, is together with our partners from HEPTA. That's a automated drone inspection company for grids. We automate AI grid inspection. So the drone data from HEPTA is blended with satellite data and other data sources. And HEPTA AI identifies anomalies and reports them back to the grid control room. And that is something that needs protection because a lot of this data is very proprietary and has to be secured. And at the end, also here, grid resilience is improved, which is also good for the energy transition. So these are a couple of sample use cases that circle around the 3 technologies that I've mentioned. And the business model is pretty standard. So we offer Clean Grid as a SaaS model with a usage-based pricing scheme. And we have some customers that require full technology ownership. So we also accommodate that. So we put the system on-prem and wrap a licensing model around. So it doesn't have to be a SaaS model.
Okay, yeah, that's very interesting. Florian, really putting into practice very innovative data technologies for really solving pressing not only business challenges, but definitely climate challenges. When you speak about your project together with E.ON and Digico, where you were able to lesser the time that you need for planning EV infrastructure by 95%, I think that's impressive. Same case maybe goes with HEPTA, as grid resilience is very important in order for us having very reliable energy system. Maybe, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, then maybe moving ahead, Florian, you could maybe speak about what's exactly the impact that you're having.
Yeah, so first of all, you only can do what we do is with a strong team. So if you want to create impact, you need a strong team. And we think that we have a strong team in place. So our shareholders are iconic corporates from different verticals. So from the energy vertical, it's E.ON, no surprise, and Origin Energy from Australia. Then from the healthcare verticals, where we also have applications, one of our shareholders is Philips. And from the consumer electronics vertical, where we are also active, Sony and Panasonic, plus on top of that, a big Silicon Valley-based venture capitalist is part of our shareholder base. The engineering team has decades of experience and has invented the core technologies around digital rights management. So these are technologies that are used to securely share and exchange data and software on the internet. Every app store globally, Apple, Google, uses our technology. And so you can guess what that means. And these technologies are also embedded in CleanGrid for the first time. So nobody really has made this transition to put these technologies that are used like in app stores for data exchange into the energy system. The business impact for our customers we see in two areas. The first area is innovation, and the second area is efficiency. So on the innovation side, our customers can use data in completely new ways to develop new products, new services, or improve existing products or services. And of course, at the end, this leads to more own and happier customers, which is good. On the efficiency side, our customers can use the data in new ways to identify what I call 30% category improvements. So big improvements in processes that are very, very hard to discover and achieve without crunching new data very intensively with machine learning AI. Our technology also enables companies to reduce their data operations costs significantly. So when you use the system, you need to incur less cost for data storage, less cost for data movement. It increases the productivity of data science teams dramatically. So studies show that data science team today spend around 30 to 50% of their time searching for the data. That's a problem we can eliminate. And customers also have less IT project costs in the future because we have a much more efficient and agile way to create data environments that then also enable leaner IT projects. On the climate side, the impact is driven by two factors. We believe that we can reduce the data center load and usage from companies significantly, which at the end lowers the energy consumption of the company cloud. And the second area is the impact that comes from the new solutions that we enable. And I've given you a few examples. So we think that when the transition of the energy systems to net zero carbon emission is accelerated, then at the end, this will lead to reaching the goals much faster. And what we see today is that because of the situation around the data in utilities and also in utility ecosystems and all the new players coming in, that's a struggle, that's a challenge, that's a big area for innovation. So almost every week here in Silicon Valley, where I'm based, companies get funded that attack certain problems within the energy value chain that circle around the interoperability of data between different market players. So it's very exciting and great times ahead of us. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Florian. Very exciting to hear a lot more about Intertrust. And of course, if you want to learn more, you can contact Florian directly. You can see all of the information down in this video. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.